When you want to push fast, lock your racket angle and drive it forward and down. Don't try to brush it. Some ask, won't it go in the net without brushing? Alright, today let's talk about the push. We've covered many types of pushes before. Today, we'll focus on how to make your push more threatening and varied. Let's analyze push variations from the perspective of serve-receive. If the opponent serves with heavy spin and a clear acceleration, you should push with a steady, even speed. If their serve comes at a steady pace, that's when you can accelerate your push. Many players misread the spin because they try to accelerate their push against an already fast, heavy spin serve. Trying to counter speed with more speed requires a high level of skill. It's not a high percentage shot. Remember that first point. Second, for a long ball, you need a backswing to create distance and generate power. On short balls, getting close allows you to effectively chop push down on your opponent. Amateur players often do the opposite, failing to use a backswing on long balls, which causes them to misread the spin. Conversely, if you use a big backswing on a short ball to add power, you'll collide with its pace and send it off the table. The short distance in the table requires compact power. Too much backswing on an in-table ball makes it hard to control the force upon contact. Third, when pushing against a backspin serve, your racket angle must mirror your opponent's. First, observe if they're actually creating friction. If they push with a vertical racket face, it's not backspin. It's likely no spin or side spin topspin. If their racket angle is facing downward, you mirror it. If it's slightly more vertical, you become more vertical. If it's very flat, you use a flat angle too. Watch me, if he serves with a flat angle, I use a flat angle. If he uses a more vertical angle, I adjust to a more vertical one. This is how I control the trajectory. You must become sensitive to the intensity and amount of spin. If your opponent uses a flat racket face and chops down very fast, you know the ball will have heavy backspin. If they chop down fast with a vertical racket face, the ball will be fast but not very spinny. Against this, just keep your racket vertical and you can chop the ball's arc down. Fourth point, placement. Many players push to the middle of the opponent's backhand or forehand, which is easy for them to attack. If you push to your opponent's left foot on their backhand side, it becomes very awkward for them to loop. Pushing to their body center is easy to attack, but pushing to their right foot makes their backhand awkward again. On the forehand side, you must aim for a spot that forces them to turn their body and reach. If you push right into their backswing zone, they can attack without moving their feet. The most uncomfortable spot for a backhand loop is right at their left foot. I'm talking about the foot's position, not the hip. As a two-wing looper, I know exactly which spots are the most difficult. For a backhand push to the middle, aim for their right leg, as their foot will be positioned even wider. For the forehand, aim wide, outside their natural hitting zone. Prioritize placement over speed and spin. Even a heavy spin ball is easy to attack if it's placed comfortably for your opponent. You have to force them to move, a sidestep or a lunge. This will significantly reduce the quality of their attack. Always push based on your opponent's position, as amateur players' footwork and anticipation are generally weaker. The priority is always, first placement, then speed, and finally spin. Most experienced amateurs have good feel and friction. Now, let's discuss the key principles of pushing fast versus pushing with heavy spin. When you want to push fast, on either forehand or backhand, you must contact the ball on the lower half of your racket. To generate heavy spin, you must execute a downward chopping motion. Think of it like smashing a lob. Because it comes from high to low, it's hard for the opponent to find the right timing. If your opponent serves flat, you can block it. But if the serve is already fast, why would you try to push even faster? You're just setting yourself up for an error. The condition for a fast push is that the incoming ball, be it long, short, or half long, is relatively slow. When the ball is slow, keep your racket higher than the ball, contact it on the lower half of the blade, and slice downwards. This will naturally generate speed. For instance, on a short serve, if I chop push down, the speed comes from the ball's rapid downward trajectory, not from how fast I snap my wrist. This fast-dropping ball is difficult to loop aggressively. The opponent is often forced into a high, spinny loop. If the incoming ball is already fast and low, trying to accelerate it further is not a high percentage play. Let me show you again. I raise the racket without adding much force, but when I slice down, the resulting speed is considered fast for a push. This technique works well against serves that are slow, both short and long. However, if the opponent's short ball is very low and soft, or the long ball is fast and sharp, a chop push is not the best option. So what's the principle of the chop push? You must cut the ball from top to bottom. After contact, aim the bottom edge of your racket towards the base of the net. This applies to both forehand and backhand. I'll demonstrate. Aim for the base of the net. See how my racket tip is directed there? This ensures the ball's trajectory will be low. Why do you push into the net? It's because you're positioned too far back for a short serve. You can't get to the ball in time, and that's why it goes into the net. It's about your positioning, not the amount of spin. If you stand closer, you could even flick that same serve. You hit the net because you were late. You contacted the ball with the tip of your racket after your stroke was already mostly finished. To execute a proper chop push, your body's center of gravity must be in position. Start with your forearm bent, and finish with it extended. If you're hitting the ball at the end of your arm's extension, the error is due to your footwork, anticipation, and positioning, not because the opponent's serve was too spinny. A short serve can't have that much spin. Even a heavy backspin serve can be flicked. No matter how spinny the short serve is, if I drop my racket head, I can flick it. The error comes from being out of position. Your center of gravity and position weren't there. Always make contact with your elbow bent, then extend through the shot. If you find yourself hitting the net with a straight arm when moving in, that error is on you, not the spin. Now let's talk about timing and placement. It's my habit that when I want to push to the opponent's forehand or middle, I always take the ball on the rise. Why? Because if I'm late, their forehand attack is too powerful. They'll just be waiting to rip it. Many players push without a clear intention, they just want to get the ball on the table. My standard is, even if my technique isn't perfect, my awareness must be. You should only change direction to the middle or forehand when your anticipation and positioning are excellent. If you feel your position is poor, for example, you expected a long ball but got a short one and your timing is off, then play it safe and push to their backhand. Most players have a weaker backhand attack. Even if they loop it, it's contained to that half of the table, giving you a chance to rally instead of being finished by one forehand. Whenever you decide to change placement, try to take the ball early, on the rise, using the ball's own pace. As long as you don't use a backswing, you can accelerate without issue. The moment you use a backswing and try to chop down hard, the ball will go long. So, stay close to the ball and accelerate through the second half of the stroke. This will increase your consistency. Now for a more advanced topic, why you push the ball high or into the net, and the cause of errors in serve-receive pushes. Errors happen because your contact on the back of the ball is too flat and you lack the ability to adjust. For example, against a sidespin topspin serve, if I realize I'm too late to push normally, I have to instantly adjust and chop downwards to prevent the ball from popping up. If a heavy backspin ball comes and you chop down on it, of course it's going into the net. Against heavy backspin, you need to guide the ball forward with a flatter trajectory. This is all about your forearm. Against a sidespin topspin ball, chop forward and down. Against a heavy sidespin backspin ball, push it forward. Why does it go in the net? Because your forearm stops. On a heavy, fast backspin, the error is stopping your arm on contact. You must follow through with your forearm. Do this, and you'll handle the ball. It's the same for short balls, don't stop the motion abruptly. A backspin ball wants to dive down off your racket. By guiding it forward, you carry its trajectory over the net. A topspin ball wants to jump up. So, I have to chop down on it to keep it from flying off the table. So, use short, compact power against topspin. Against heavy backspin, use a steady, even motion to guide it forward. This will stop you from misreading the spin. A common mistake is hitting hard against heavy backspin and softly against topspin. You should do the opposite. Do you use your body in a push? Yes, to control your center of gravity. Move in for short balls, and stay low for long balls. It's not a body rotation. On the forehand push, many amateurs use only their wrist, which is why the ball goes into the net. You need to open up your wrist, but don't curl it inwards. Curling it in will result in a short, weak push. Push your wrist forward to create a parallel plane with the table. After contact, extend your wrist and elbow forward, and drop the racket head downwards, not sideways. The motion is forward and down to guide the ball out, whether you're going down the line or cross court. Keep your racket face open. To push straight, send it forward and down. To push cross court, turn and push with the racket head. On the forehand serve receive, you must learn to push the ball long and fast. This long, fast push is not created by adding more spin. Once you have this skill, you won't be afraid of forehand short serves anymore. Pushing with heavy spin slows the ball down. The other method is to push and use your body weight to drive forward and down. That ball is very difficult to attack. Pushing with spin means using the rotation of your racket head to accelerate and create friction. When you want to push fast, lock your racket angle and drive it forward and down. Don't try to brush it. Some ask, won't it go in the net without brushing? If you use this racket angle, you can guide even the heaviest spin over the table. You must use your center of gravity. If the ball is high, press your weight down. Notice there's no brushing motion at all. If the opponent serves short to your forehand, this is a tactic I often use. The key is to use your body weight and forearm to push forward and down. The speed is very high. Don't use your fingers and wrist to create friction. As you step in, your center of gravity is high. Then, as you extend your arm forward and down, your body weight follows in one synchronized motion. This is different from a long chop push, where you might chop down like this. With this fast push, I commit my body weight forward without hesitation. The body provides excellent momentum and helps drive the ball. When playing this shot, know your objective. My goal here is pure speed. If I wanted to add spin, I would obviously focus on using the racket head to generate friction. Against an opponent who likes to step around, if I push slow with spin, they can get there. But when I use this fast push, they often think it's spinny and miss. In reality, they are beaten by the speed, not just the spin.